Happy Tuesday. This is Sheila from Grace UMC Arlington. So on Sunday, the pastor, he spoke from 1 Kings chapter 17, where he told Elijah to move. So Pam, what experience have you had? Because, we're in this phase of change. So what do you feel? What did you take away from Sunday's message?
So this message reminded me of the changes that I've had to do recently. Not only changing space, changing places, but having to adapt to new places and new spaces. Spaces for me is what really stood out today, because I'm probably a creature of habit. As Pastor kind of mentioned, people get comfortable with the spaces that they're in. And so I've had to start working from home, which means my space had to change. And I had to learn how to adapt to that new space. And so in that, I find myself, sometimes I have to let go and not be so strict about that space, if that makes sense. Because I am probably what some people might call OCD.
Yes.
With my space. And so I have to learn how to make sure that the space that's created is not only comfortable for me, but comfortable for the people that are around me.
Right. Yeah. We've both have been in a situation where we've had to change places, because where you're from and where I'm from. And to move from like New York to Florida, it was like, oh my gosh, such a big change. But I find it's easier to change when you're younger than as you get older. It's a little harder.
I'm going to agree with you on that one, because changing from growing up in a space that had seasons to a place, we had 4 seasons. Now there's 2 in Texas, hot and hot. So I still, even now I have to confess that I still want seasons. Growing up all those years with seasons, so I have to adapt to that change. And I'm in Texas now, so I have to, quote unquote, be a Texan. And but it's hard, because not only do you change spaces, but your mind has to catch up to where you are.
Yes.
And that's what mine is doing. It's constantly trying to catch up to where I am.
Yes.
I'm working on it. And these messages are really helping me to really look at changes that are going on in my life, not only with space, places, and people, but they're helping me to grow in a way that every week I'm listening about change. And when you keep hearing about change and what change means, change in your mind, change in your heart, when you hear it on a regular basis, it starts to set inside. It starts to be in your mind and in your heart.
Yes. So like the pastor said, we never thought we would be in a situation where we have to make a mask a part of our wardrobe, and being 6 feet apart, and just a new way of living. And he also stated that if you don't change, you become extinct. So
I believe that, because if you don't learn how to adapt in the current situation that we're in right now, you will push yourself away. You'll remove yourself from people because you don't want to grasp a hold of that change. And you will become extinct, because pretty soon you'll just get so into yourself and place yourself so far away from other people that people get comfortable with that. If you don't branch out, if you don't, do something different, you'll stay at the same place where you are.
Absolutely. So. In this day and age, we have to change.
Definitely.
And it's just kind of the way of life is.
It is.
So, no matter how old we get.
No, we're not going to talk about how old we are and how many changes we've had to make.
Exactly.
Okay?
And you know what? Change is still going to come, and we just have to be prepared, and we have to just know God is with us, and it's going to be okay to make a change.
It is.
You know, so, and I feel like not only do we have to kind of declutter, as he stated, our home, we have to declutter our mind so we can accept changes.
I think that's a very good point because there was a lot of stuff that went on last year and a lot of stuff that cluttered minds last year. And if
Right.
you bring into the new year old stuff,
Right.
it's, you know, you have to work with removing those things in order to bring new things in. And so that's one of the things that I really, most of the time at the end of the year, I work on that. Like I kind of look at the year, what's been going on so that I can
Right.
move into a new year with a different
Yeah.
mindset, with a change of mind.
And I know one thing about you, you're really good about journaling.
Yes.
So, and it's something, you know, I probably need to start. So, you know, I think that what's in your mind, it just comes on the pages, you know, to put them on the pages so you can declutter your mind.
I think it's really important. I'm glad you mentioned that. I think it is really important to write down some of the things that are in your mind and take a look at them and go, you know, these are some of the things that I'm thinking. How can I change the way that I'm thinking? A lot of times it's hard for people to do that because it requires that they'll have to make a change. They'll have to do something different. So that's why I've noticed a lot of people don't journal because it will force you to make changes.
Okay, well, I'll keep that in mind. Okay, well, just remember about change. Okay, so have a blessed week and remember to